You know what time it is? Whoa, I'm super close. Whoa. All right, guys, what is going on? We're trying a new format today, so we might have some hiccups. We're doing long screen, so you can go from this to this. So you might be watching me on Instagram, you might be watching me on Facebook. Just a new way of trying things. I have not talked to you guys. I've not gone live since since the Justin Nemo, and that was the week before Playmates. So we're going over Playmates today. I have to do the camera over here because you guys can't see me. We're doing Playmates today, and of course, we're talking about the new series and how we got to the new series. And of course, it wouldn't be a live stream without giveaways. So we're doing giveaways today too. Guys, I want to go over a couple of comments. We got some early arrivals here. We got Aries at 8 o'clock before we even started. Evening, y'all. Hope everyone is doing well. Aries is a former winner because he's here very often, or this person's here very often. They get to win. We got Tim saying, I just hope and pray the alleged new Power Rangers reboot does not completely ruin it for me. I think everyone's kind of hoping that. I do want more Percy Jackson, though. It looks like that's probably going to happen. What's up, Nick? What's going on? We got Jay, the Juggernaut. We got Sebastian. We got Josh. We got Maddie. We got Nick. We got Caden. We got Ranger, Restoration and Repair. We got a lot of our normals here. What's going on, guys? We got Victor. We got Sean saying it's morphin' time. We got Kelly saying hello, everyone. We got Jordan saying hi. Noel from Facebook saying awesome. Thanura saying hi. Asan saying hi, man. Man, everyone's just like, we got a lot of people here. Hey, everyone. I know everybody want to talk about the reboot. So I had to bring in, I would say that me and him are probably like two of the four biggest Power Ranger news on planet Earth right now. I would have to say it's us as far as YouTube wise for sure. They got Ranger Board. We got some stuff that does they do like internet and Twitter. But as far as YouTube goes, it's me, this guy, maybe two other guys. Everybody, welcome the fan club. Dan, what's going on, man?
What's going on, bro? How we doing? What's going on, people?
We got a full house. Or I mean, we already got 45 people in here, man. That's nuts. So we're streaming over 3 platforms. I might do an upgrade, and we might start streaming over Twitter. And what's the other one I'm missing? Maybe Twitch. So maybe
Twitch
so
for sure.
I have like 20 people on Twitch, but I got some people on Twitter for sure. But yeah, we might be expanding that here soon. We're looking at different platforms, or maybe we're going to upgrade on StreamYard. Not completely sure, but we're going to do something soon. So we need to So like only a couple of the people that we have here. So how you been doing, man?
Dude, doing awesome, man. Just steady on the grind. Really excited with all this news and stuff going on.
Right.
Like, as a Power Ranger creator, we have been fiending for something for a minute, man. And it's
Yeah.
about time. And we've heard it all at this point. I've heard every single iteration of Power Rangers, and now we're on to Disney Plus. Like, it's
Right.
kind of crazy how things are going,
We
but
went from
I'm
Netflix.
excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun episode. Let's put it like that, people.
For sure, for sure. So we're gonna get started with Playmates. That's where we're gonna start because that's we haven't gone live. Me and Dan haven't gone live since me and Dan, you haven't gone live since like maybe December, maybe was the last time
Yeah,
we went
dude,
live
I haven't
together.
been on here in a minute. Like, I've
Yeah.
tuned in, but I haven't
Yeah.
been on.
And we haven't live streamed a lot this year. We've been really bad about this. I'll be honest with you guys. And the reason is a lot of you guys have been following me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok is that we're covering way more than Power Rangers now.
Hey,
And I have to watch more stuff now. So that is the real simple reason why is I can't go live as often because I am catching up on almost everything every night, whether it be Daredevil, whether it was Star Wars, whether it's Game of Thrones, whatever it is, whatever it's been the last couple of months, like we've been catching up on almost everything. Spider-Man, which was a great animated series that just came out recently. The Spider-Man, what they call it, wasn't First Class. They changed it from First Class. But either way, season 1 of that was really good, by the way. But
your friendly
we've been covering.
neighborhood
That's
Spider-Man.
it, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So we've been covering a
Fire.
bunch of different things. Dan's been covering a bunch of Marvel stuff on his channel as well. So we've been doing a lot. So we're going to start with, we are going to cover the Reboot series. I may, depending on time, even drop the link for you guys for you to jump up on here to give your thoughts because we both did videos and I've seen a lot in the comments some things that I didn't think about when I was making the initial video. So, man, and let's talk about this real quick before we hit Playmates. And I just want to talk about what you were doing when this news dropped because I was in the worst possible place when this happened. What were you doing when we got the news about the Reboot series?
Dude, it's never this way, but I was in the studio with needing something to do, bro. It was the best.
I'm always in the studio and I'm always like, I'm waiting for something to happen because I work from home. And it never get like because there's a lot of situations where I have the first video up, and to this one time, dude, I was at the freaking dealership stuck, and I was just like, I need to go home. Like I gotta go. And so the guy came. It was like 10 more minutes. I was like, bro, it's got to be like 5. Like it's got to be 5. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. So they got down 5 minutes, and like I got out of there. But when I had found. I think when I got done with the posts, I made the post on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all that stuff. When I got done with that, I saw Dan, you were already posting your first video, was already going up, premiering. I was like, he beat me. He's gonna beat me by 3 hours at least, dude. So I was
dude,
like, damn.
and it's not like that lately, dude. Normally you're on, and dude, it's just like friendly competition just to see who can
do it first, right?
Yeah, but and it's one of those, dude. I'm never lucky. There's been so many times where, like, I remember when I forget what it was. There was some big news, either Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury, and I was in another state in a hotel. Like, I remember I made a video from like an undisclosed location type situation.
I remember when the Cosmic Fury news dropped and we found out that David Yost was in it. My daughter was sick for the first time, like throwing up. And I was like, I can't do anything. Like, I can't, there's nothing I can do. And I'm just sitting there. But luckily, I think that was for me one of those situations where it didn't matter because everyone wanted to hear everyone's take on it. And so, like, I think those videos did well no matter what. Yep. So, someone had a comment here. I do want to hit, I forgot who already lost it, but someone who asked me, who do I go to for news on Twitter? And there's a lot of places actually I go to news for Twitter. A lot of them, Ranger Board is a really good one. I go to, there's a lot of random, Morphin Legacy is usually on top of things as well.
They're awesome, man. They've been doing it for years too. Yeah. Shout out Morphin Legacy.
I'm trying to think who else I would see for Power Ranger news. I mean, there's some people from like Ranger Command that have like their individual accounts. So if you can find them, they have a podcast. They've had it for a longest time, but they're like super connected. So a Cosmic Ranger is, I think that's his name. he has a lot of good stuff that he posts pretty quickly as well. I think he does a lot of the comic books really quickly too. So, and then of course Deoxy, if it comes to comic books, he usually has that info
Oh, hell
first as
yeah.
well. So, all right, guys. So we're going to start our stream. We're comfortable 10 minutes in. We haven't even talked about anything yet. So let me pull it up. Okay, you're gonna have to give me a time to adjust. See,
Oh,
I knew it
man.
was gonna do that. It's gonna be weird. Okay.
Crazy looking.
Yeah, we're gonna be little. So
Oh,
it's
this is
still
cool.
we're gonna be little. All right, guys. So you
Yeah.
guys are gonna get the scoop here, or the little visual here. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is Playmates. So Playmates, this is the first thing we found out about was these how do you say the flip head figures. So these were the first things that we found out about it. And I want to say like everybody was pissed. Like I feel like this was not what everybody was expecting for the first announcement. A lot of us, I think even me included, I wouldn't say that as soon as I put out the video, I kind of noticed these weren't the ones in the silhouettes that we had been getting, but the fandom was just mad about these. I mean, at first glance, they just don't look very good. They're very odd shaped. Green Ranger looks really bad in particular. The Red Ranger helmet actually looks pretty good, but there's missing paint, missing details. A lot of the collars are messed up on this one. The Black Ranger's collar is messed up. You can actually see his skin, which is pretty weird, like on the neck. What did you think of these, man?
Okay, so these were like, it was like, how do you say it? The tip of the iceberg, if you will. When I noticed these, I was like, all right, everyone is just grilling these, but these are $10 figures. And
Yeah,
I went back and looked at the other auto flip figures, like, they're not great. Like, I mean, I'd say the Bandai ones are probably the best and they're
yeah,
nostalgic and iconic, but there were even problems with those, man. I know the Hasbro ones that came out 4 or 5 years ago, the fans ripped on those. I think at least these were $10. They're not
yeah.
the best, but I did like that the weapons had some color on them. That was pretty cool. Like they're
That's true.
painted. Like
Yeah,
there was a, I if this was all that they released, I get why you guys would be mad, but they were trying to hit you from a bunch of different price points. Like, hey, we got
right.
$16 morphers, we got $10 figures, and it sounds like they're coming out with some like collector-esque figures in the next year or two. So,
Yeah,
like, they're gonna give the fans what they want, but they're trying to make some kid figures. And we had figures just like these, like I remember the Zeo and Turbo back in the day. Their flip figures weren't the best either, but yet I loved them as a kid. I'm just trying to like think about the stuff that we're ripping these figures about. Is a kid really gonna care about it? But the other side is will the kids actually play with this? So like I could argue with myself about this, but as
right.
long as there's other stuff that you could collect, like the Morphers and the Dragon Dagger and what is it, Blade Blaster, like all those type of things, it makes it more fun. And I feel like we're getting a lot more stuff than we did with like Dino Fury or Cosmic Fury.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, we only got the Zords, the Morpher, and then like Halloween costumes. So a lot of us only got the Zords and Morpher. But I mean, like, I do think kids still like want to see things that look like is on the show, right? And I think it's important to notice that, or important to note that when this was all going on, we heard from Montyverse and No Pink Spandex exclusively that they are going to re-release the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers AI enhanced. I know a lot of people said that, but basically it's going to be remastered for
Yeah.
HD. This is basically what it's going to be. I don't know. Everyone's kind of like, why'd you say AI? I think they were using trigger words, and we're trying to get people like, for that to come up and for them to have a reaction. That way it pushes it out more. We do it for headlines on YouTube videos, right? But like, it's going to be basically a remastered HD, which is really good for, I would say, like me and you, because it's really, really hard to find HD images of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like really, really hard for our videos or for any of our content. And when we, as a YouTuber and as someone who makes content, we know that these platforms want us to have the best picture quality of everything that we do. And if we don't, it pushes it to the bottom. So for like right now, us being Power Ranger influencers, content creators, that's a good thing because we're going to get new images. But I know a lot of people had their opinion on that. But our biggest thing was when they announced this new series or announced this new line. I think me and Dan included, we were like, how is this going to market well if there not being anything on TV or anything for them to consume? And then when they announced this, it's like, that makes sense. Like I almost thought that was what they were going to do. And I even put it in a video, I think the day before they announced it, like, why aren't they doing like what they did like in 2010? You know what I mean? So I remember mentioning that, and then the next day they did that, and a lot of you caught it in the comments. Were like, you called it. Well, I think a lot of us called that because we didn't see like the business end of that. But as a kid, I do think they still want to sort of see what they're seeing on TV, and these shapes are strange. And we'll get some better close up. And I'm looking over at my phone, and you guys are getting a better view than what I'm getting on my screen, so I'm happy about that. But like the Red Ranger here, like and Ranger Restoration Pair said it, that his wife said that they look like the old Ninja Turtles, and they really do. Like they have that real weird like, and I understand like the mechanics of getting the fitting two heads in a chest and stuff like that. And I don't know why Bandai did it so much better 30 years ago. And I think that's the issue. So there's some good things and bad things about this. And I think the bad things about this is the upper torso. That like the legs are fine, the arms are fine, the head is even fine on the Ranger part, but it's just like that weird shape. I love that the like you said, the weapons are painted. We got the red, even though they're not detailed. Like that's good. These are not things that we had when we were little. We didn't get these until later. Even though we only got one version of the Blade Blaster, that's still painted well as too. You know, like I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think the Black Ranger's weapon looks the best here.
Yeah.
Pink Ranger actually looks pretty accurate because the Pink Ranger didn't have much to it. I think the daggers and the lance just kind of look weird for me. And obviously the Dragon Dagger looks just like it's just weird. But I think I would have made the handle black and then everything else green. But I understand why they went with gold. My only thing is, why didn't they go the same gold on the shield? I think that would have helped in the Green Ranger's presentation. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly like what they were doing with these. They're not my favorite, but at the same time, like I want to get these. Like I want to compare them to my Hasbro ones. Like I got Bandit, like I got a whole thing full of flip heads out here, and some of them are really old, some of them are beat up, but some are in decent condition. But honestly, like, okay, that the girls look wild, bro. Like the Yellow Ranger, that I mean. Is this Mighty Morphin or is this Zyuranger footage? Like, this is crazy one time.
I think some of the paint is kind of hurt, like where it's missing on the helmet. Like here, the eyes are missing. Over here, the green is missing. The eyes are missing too, as well. Like, and I think and everybody's like, well, they're so small. Like, well, Bandai did it. I think even Hasbro did it. So there's the white trim missing on Black Ranger also. And if you see it right here, I don't know if you can tell, right under his helmet on the flip head part, you can see skin.
Oh man.
Do you see that?
That's wild, bro.
Dude,
like, I guess if you nitpick these now, hopefully
but it's the only one that it has skin. Look at the rest of them.
I wonder what the hell they were like. What, so hopefully they're like they've gone back and seen these and they're correcting it. Hopefully I mean, we'll see if it actually happens, and at least they release them in time in the sense of if there are a few hiccups and criticism, they can change a little bit, like a little bit of paint here, a little bit of paint there. Now, I don't think that they can like redesign the Pink Ranger so she looks like a woman, but like it is. I mean, it is what it. I'm not hating. It's just the design. It's just.
I do give them props on the skirt, though. I think that's really cool. I'm glad that they finally put. Oh, a skirt
I do like the skirt. That's cool. I have no problem with that. Hey, I feel like how big she is the size that I wish the men were, and then the women were just like half the size of just a little bit smaller. Like, look at like you're right. Bandai did them a lot better, but I still feel like they were kind of bulky when it came to the Hasbro versions. The OG Bandais were probably the best ones.
Yeah.
These, and like, at least until we see them up close, these are probably the worst. But I think these are probably the cheapest, except for, back then Bandai ones were probably $5 to $7. But for kids items, these are okay, I guess, but I'm just glad we got a bunch of other stuff. And we got Megazords and things that kind of will hold us over.
And we'll talk about
That
that right. Oh, hold on, let's look at Tommy. I like the
oh,
headband. I think the headband's good. That's cool. You know, it's just the
oh
shield.
yeah.
The shield is weird, and I don't know why, but on this one in particular, like they gave everybody a little bit of muscle, right? Everyone has a little bit of muscle except for Tommy.
Roy.
It has. It just has. Is oh my god! I don't know. Yeah, everybody's like, "Did he skip leg day?" And I'm like, I think he did." So
Dude, that's funny. Why did they do that to our
I
boy?
don't know. It's so like these, and I think kids would like the gimmick of the flip heads, and I think that might help it. This, but what I have to say is that I do like the presentation of these with what they'll look like in box, and we'll show that here in a second. But let's move on to the Megazord, like you talked about, because we brought that up. Now this Megazord, I'm actually okay with the Megazord. I think people expected more. This is almost like they're redoing the 1993 Megazord. Like this, I think that's the best way to put it because it's basically the same thing. It's going to be a little bit bigger. I want to say it's going to be about. This one said 16 inches, right? So the 93 is 12 inches. So this one's going to be. I think this one's going to be the largest Megazord we've gotten to date. That's not that super big one that comes in the magazine. That's like 2 feet tall, but I think these look pretty good. I do see where they went with a little bit of a gimmick, like the Triceratops has the blaster right here that you can the missile launch. I think that's kind of cool.
That's
The
cool.
Yellow Ranger is going to have it too. Kind of going through the Mastodon. I think looks pretty good. I mean, it's hard to get Mastodon wrong. I am noticing it looks like they're doing stickers, which I think I can appreciate a little bit better because that means they can't mess up on paint apps. So I mean I don't know what you think, but that's kind of what I'm thinking on that.
I'm not against that because a lot of good Zords back in the day. Like I remember having the Lost Galaxy OG Megazord and having to put the stickers on it, but it lasted for a long time. And I was messing that up, but somehow the stickers lasted, but a lot of the paint on it itself was starting to go because I was beating it up. So sometimes the stickers are better, but yeah.
Looks like the Pterodactyl is going to come with the 5 minifigures to make it worth it. Because he's going to be $19.99 a piece, and those flip sides were going to be $9.99. So I was wondering
what they were going to do with that one.
I do have to say, all the prices for everything on Playmates is completely reasonable, and even better than what I probably expected for everything. So $19.99. So this is going to be about, or was it $19.99?
It was like $17.99, about $18 or something. And
I remember thinking it came out to $90 for the full set without tax.
This is the one Megazord though that or the one item that everything else is priced really good, and then it's about $80-$90 if you want the whole Megazord, which is higher compared to other years, but like you said, it is larger. And you're saving money with the Blade Blaster's only $20, the Morpher's under $20. So this is the only item that's actually going to cost a little bit more than you've expected.
Now there is no articulation on this. I think the Tyrannosaurus looks the best. That one, I think that one's the one they're really focused on. I'm actually, when I'm looking at this closer now, on a bigger screen, I actually like the Mastodon. I thought they looked a little Lego-y. I think this one, the Saber-tooth Tiger looks a little Lego-y, blocky. And one thing I think you'll see in a lot of the things that we're going to show for the Playmate stuff is it's almost it's very rectangular. Everything is very kind of boxed in. And it's almost like they didn't want to curve any of the plastic. And I wonder if that was a cost saving thing or what they're thinking for some of the electronics. But I know there's no electronics on the Megazord. So I was kind of it just seems to be kind of a trend that I'm noticing. Right. So I didn't put a picture, but it is going to be able to go into, oh my God, cannon mode. So it's going to be able to go in oh my God, what is the mode called? It's not cannon mode. It's
battle mode or no, tank mode.
Tank mode. That's it.
Tank mode. Okay, tank mode.
I was gonna bother the comments are gonna start lighting up. Oh my God, you're such a poser. So yeah, but I do kind of like the sword is gold here. I kind of like that little detail. Kind of reminds me of the Soul of Chokin. Chokin, is that what you call it? Anyway, the SOC, the super expensive version, had the gold sword on that. I wish the only thing I really wish won this thing. I wish there was a little chrome. That's kind of like all I wish, just to kind of give us that more of that '90s feel, since this
I
seemed to
feel
be
that.
what they're doing. I would have liked to see a little chrome on this, and that's my only nitpick on it. Other than that, I think it's a really good Megazord. If you never had one, it's going to look. It looks like it's going to be really bright. It's going to stand out in probably your Megazord collection of whatever you have. It's very, and they're going with those '90s because that's why one of the reasons the show works so well in '90s was it's bright, super bright. So this is the No Peak Spandex picture in person. So take it, the purple missiles. I kind of like it actually. It kind of adds a little something to it. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, apparently Montyverse had to go fix it because they put the shoulder pads down. So he was like, "That's wrong." So he went and told the person, and they fixed it because he knew how we would be. So the next thing that was announced was the Power Morpher, and I've seen a lot of people hate on this, but I'm actually okay with it because the Power Morpher is gonna be $16.99.
Yeah.
This is the most affordable Power Morpher that we have gotten, probably not even since 1993, because the 1993 was bundled with the Blade Blaster. So I think
Oh,
kind of
yeah, and that was like 20, $30 or something. You're right. This
that's
is
right.
probably the cheapest morpher you could probably buy since they've had morphers. It's not bad. 16.99. I saw that and I was like, okay, like I can get down. They got $10 figures, they got $17 morphers. I can get down with this.
Yeah,
Yes, the quality it's not going to be as good as the Lightning Collection one, but like the last few Lightning Collection morphers were like 65, $70. I mean,
right,
this one's like 4, 5 times less. I'll take it. And for for cosplayers, it's going to be dope because you're going to have a
right.
few different morphers that you could, like, I'm not saying break, but you could have a little bit more fun and not worry about, oh man, there's $70 down the drain. And also, you can give this to a kid and not feel bad that, oh, I just gave this kid a $70 morpher that in 2 years is going to be worth $300 like all these dang morphers are, right?
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
this is dope. I can get down with these $20 less morphers and blade blasters, all that stuff, man. It's just cool.
I think I was more impressed when I saw it because I was more kind of, so I knew it was gonna be kind of big, and I know like they're saying like a kid was holding it, so it's not be that big, but I knew it was gonna be like kind of like flat. What I was afraid it was gonna be like this big, like just like super super off. But um there were some decisions made here. Now, this is like they says there's 40 phrases and effects and stuff like that. And it does come with all 5 power coins. And a lot of us, because they had put out a promo of the Megazord, and I don't have it here, but they redesigned like the power coins on the Megazord, kind of like at least just for art, right? So I was like wondering if those were going to be the new Morpher power coins, but they're not. These are the original. They are newly drawn, I would say, right? So if you look
Okay.
at the pterodactyl, or not pterodactyl, the Triceratops, like that's not the classic one that we have. It's the same pose. It's just Playmates drawing of that coin. So I think it looks a little bit more cartoony, and probably the saber-toothed tiger as well. But like the mastodon looks great, Tyrannosaurus looks great, and pterodactyl looks pretty good. You do see the buttons on top. They're not having the buttons on the side like as it is on the show or traditionally in every other iteration of the Morpher ever released, which is an interesting choice. But again, if you notice here, and this is another, I'll bring it up every time I see it, there's no curved plastic on here except on that little handle part where you are bringing the Morpher down on the handle. But there's everything's boxed. It's very rectangular. And I don't know what the point of that is, but it's a trend that continues on with every single thing.
It was
So
an old toy that they just keep reusing and turning it into something, but they can't take out that button at the top.
right. I don't, it's strange. I don't know. Maybe it's an electronic thing.
That's
I
weird.
don't know. Like it just seems, why would you put the button there? Like, I don't know. But from the pictures that they are showing, at least from display wise, it doesn't seem to be too big of like, oh my God, that is taken away from the visual of it. Right. So like, especially like probably if you have it popped open, you don't see it as much because it looks like the buttons may be on the black part and not necessarily on the gray plates. Right. So
Hey, maybe just maybe when they were like, maybe this is something that they had kids come in and test it out, and
yeah,
maybe the kids thought it was easier to activate it
it
by
is
just
easier.
hitting
Yeah.
the top, like they like
Yeah.
I. we've got kids, you know, like sometimes if they put the button at a weird spot, like this one is, it might be difficult for them to go like it's morphin time and then hit it. Maybe it was way easier to just smack the top and let it open up and hit the like
Possible.
for
Yeah.
kids anyways. Like it like for adults we'll be like, dude, why did they do that? But kids might be like, it's way easier for me to open the thing up then and get it going. I don't know. Just
Right.
fucking
It's the possibility it could have been tested for sure, and it probably was. So this is the one I think I'm most excited about. For myself personally, is the Blade Blaster. This is the number one thing I'm gonna get. I should say the Morpher was $16.99. The Blade Blaster is the most expensive at $19.99. This is the most expensive piece that they said that is going to be so far. So I think this looks really good like the show. So the only difference, it says Power Rangers. We all know it says Drew Rangers in the original footage, but whatever, I'm good with it. It's going to have a spring-loaded blade, which I think is cool. Something that I don't have or that I've never had. It's going to have lights and sounds. Again, and I'll show you in a different picture, but the only issue on this one, as far as the only issue I saw, is the bottom here is rectangular. They didn't use curved plastic again. And maybe it's because electronic things, it looks a little fat. I'm okay with it. Either way, it's going to look good on display on my shelf out of box. I'm good with it. This is probably the one that I am most happy about this. I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
I like it. There's a lot of people out there that don't have a Blade Blaster that want one. And now it's either you have to get the right sale on eBay or the garage sale, or you got to pay $70 to $150 for one.
Right.
You know, it's not it. I got mine maybe 4 or 5 years ago on eBay for like $20 and got lucky. But then I've had friends like spend $60, $70 on a dang like blaster. So it's cool that like anybody that wants to collect it can get it for $20, or you can give it to your kids, your nieces, your nephews. They like Power Rangers. Yo, check this out. I had this when I was a kid, and you kids haven't had these for a long time. Like I think it's cool. I mean, $20, I can definitely grab a couple of these. I might grab one to collect and one to display. I already have one, but it'd be cool to have two of them. Like we got the whole arsenal, man. That'd be dope.
Right. I think for me, because like I think we're actually going to have the wedding this year. So, you know, I always wanted to do the morpher thing with my groomsmen. And now I can actually like afford to do it.
Yeah, so, like, that's dope, bro. For real.
I've always wanted to do. I always thought it'd be cool, and $16.99 a piece. Like, yeah, like just go grab 5 of them, and that'd be good. So
you better hire a videographer or something. You better get some video on that, bro.
I didn't even think about that. That's another expense. Okay, write that down. Video.
It's expensive, but like you're gonna like because one, the wife's gonna want it. Like you to look back at the video, but 2, like you might be able to turn that into some content. You know, if you can turn it into some content, you might be able to do you know what. So yeah,
we'll see. We have rules about family being on the channel. Like obviously, you've never seen my daughter's face,
just like
stuff like that. But yeah,
we're not necessarily showing the whole thing, but like
it depends on what she's comfortable with, and we'll see about that. And I guess I could like write it off if I need to.
Dude, you're the Power Ranger guy. You gotta have a video of you doing the damn morph thing. That'd be dope.
I probably can. I probably could get away with that, at least with the groomsmen for sure. It says, with my 5-year-old getting into Power Rangers, the price point on all these role play items are such an appeal instead of her wanting to play with my old school expensive ones. And yes, that is, and I think that is the point, the entire point of this line. Everyone, Paul saying hi, Tim saying I have a chronomorpher, but it's cracked. Ooh. But you still have one. I don't even have a chronomorpher. So, oh my God, my brother's already trying to say he's not going to go. So, hold on. All right. So next picture. So this is the one that we were talking about as the new, or these are the ones in the silhouettes. These are the new figures. We didn't really see really good pictures of them. I have a little bit of a close picture, but these really remind me of the Legacy figures that we got through Bandai.
Oh yeah.
They're buff. They're a lot better than the flip head ones. I do see that they're using the same weapons, or at least the same mold, it looks like. But I think these look okay. These are going to be priced, what they say, at $12.99? Or did they even say a price on these one yet?
I don't think I saw a price yet. If those were $12.99, that wouldn't be bad. That would be.
I know they're not 6-inch. So I think they're like almost 5 inches for these ones. So I don't think they would necessarily get the 1999 price point, but here's a better picture of them here. So you guys see
That's
they
not
kind of
bad.
have a little bit of detail on some of the suits here. They look good. I think they're solid figures. The Green Ranger looks a lot better here. He actually has some biceps, which is nice. Like I said, the what he's holding the dragon dagger really weird, but it's the same one from the flip head. What I do like is these boxes and the presentation of it. I love these reignition. You see this here in the back. I love that reignition box. That is what will make me collect it because I'm an inbox collector. It has a nice, pretty window. It has a beautiful helmet. I'm hoping that it's yellow is yellow and blue is blue and green with a green. Ooh, that's gonna look clean, dude. So
Can we just stop and appreciate that they actually put a window in packaging? We can
yes,
damn see what's in there, man. Like, oh my God, I saw that. I'm like, okay, we can see if our figure's missing a head. Like, how cool
right.
is that? And they're gonna save money because we don't gotta return it.
Yeah,
It's dope, man. I'm excited. I think that they're basically restarting Mighty Morphin from the ground up again, and this isn't perfect. We could sit here, we could definitely find some things wrong with it, but overall, there's a lot of things price point wise that people are going to be able to show their kids, and if they're able to show their
right.
kids, that's a new generation that could jump back on. And like you were saying before, if they're going to remaster this, that's something that kids can actually watch. Like
Right.
I've seen some remastering using AI, and the reason why like AI is used for the color correction, and they can basically I'm not saying they can make it look exactly like it's out of 2025, but they can really clear it up a lot. So
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
can.
have something to go with the toys is gonna be freaking awesome, bro.
I agree. I think what I is selling me a lot of these things is the presentation of these. So we'll go. Here's a closer picture of that box. So I am totally happy. It looks like it's going to come with a closed blade blaster, an open blade blaster. Then we're going to get the weapon and then the toy. I'm wondering if it's going to be like a plastic window or it's going to be kind of like you can kind of pick at it. So that's the only thing I'm wondering because they've been doing that a lot lately with a lot of the kids toys. Is like you can kind of like grab it and kind of feel it if you want. But that's the main only thing. I would like the window,
Oh,
like the plastic window. That'd be my only thing. So we don't have that whole Space Jam LeBron James situation again.
oh
And we're
my
just missing a
god,
bunch
dude!
of
I
heads.
got one of those figures before it was destroyed, still in a box somewhere. So if anybody I was saying, I'm gonna have one of the few that's never messed with, man. I'm telling you. So in a
Yeah.
box somewhere, I have one of those LeBrons that's not touched, bro.
They're probably worth something. Let's say that.
Yeah, like in 20, 30 years when he retires, or well, no, I mean, I want to say no, when he goes to Hall of Fame, I should he gonna retire in like 2 years. But there's like certain steps of your life, like in like 20 years when they make the new Space Jam, I'll probably sell the LeBron one.
Yeah, it's like the only one in existence because everybody thought it was funny.
Yeah,
So
everyone mess with them, bro.
the villains is what I think is catching a lot of the fans like me and Dan, the older one, because we have a million, Red Rangers, right? But we've only gotten like a couple of Ritas.
Yeah,
And so this Rita, I have to say, as far as the price point, is probably going to be around 9 to 12 or 13. Not bad. The hands are a little bit
man.
big, but for some, like, I don't know, they're articulated, which is strange. And they almost look like if you look at the hands, they look very robotic, I would say is a good word for it.
Oh,
So
okay.
but I
She
kind of
don't
like
look awful though, bro. Like she's probably
no,
one of the best Ritas I've seen, but that's being because we don't have a lot of Ritas. But that
and what I
ain't
can
bad.
appreciate is it's gonna have the like karate action here. It looks like you pull a lever and it's gonna have a little thing that you can play with on it. Just the little details that I can appreciate about that.
Dude, that's cool, man. I like it. Yeah. What other villains do we get again? I remember I looked at it a few weeks ago, but
I
I
do
kind of
have it all. I do have all the pictures. The Goldar,
forget.
not too bad. I mean, look at the detail on there. Not bad for this is not going to be a $25 toy. This is going to be somewhere probably $9 to $15, right? Not bad. The face looks pretty good. The wings are maybe a little bit off as far as like size wise, but they're gonna have action. You squeeze the legs and you're gonna be able to move the wings, which is pretty cool. Yes, it's missing a little bit of red on the torso, but you know what? Look at the detail on the armor. Like this is pretty good. Like
That's
that's a
not
pretty
bad,
solid
man.
figure, man. And then we got to have the putty, and we've
Oh,
only
yeah.
had like 3 putty figures ever in existence. So this is an army builder at least for a lot of people. If they can get these down to $9.99, I think that would be good, man.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and so they got a picture here of all 3. What I like is like the villains all have this little code with her head, like the helmet that Rita has, or I guess her hair and crown is the best way to put it. But this, we're also going to get a King Sphinx. It's funny because I've seen people say they like the King Sphinx, and I think that's the worst figure of the bunch. But I think the King Sphinx we got in Lightning Collection is probably the best we're ever going to get. But we are going to get a Babu, and we're going to get a Squat, which we have not gotten those figures in 30 years. We haven't gotten those figures in 30 years. I don't even think we got them in 2010. Do you remember?
Dude, I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
Maybe like some little mini figures or something, but I can't remember. I remember a Rita figure.
I remember Rita, Zed, and Putty. That's all I remember in 2010.
Yeah, that's and I didn't even know about the Zed. So okay, like that was a weird line. I remember like our stores got some of it. Like I remember the Megazord and the main line, but I don't remember like the weird stuff that came out. That never hit our stores, bro.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay, so Romano
stuff.
Productions here says Superstar 7 Rita is pretty great. Nothing will top JC's Henshin's Volt Rita. I haven't seen JC's though. So every time I give Super 7 a chance, they disappoint me. I have to say, like, and it's funny because I know they like reach out with a lot of the Power Ranger content creators, and I'm never gonna be it because I've given them like 3 solid chances and they disappointed me every single time. So sorry, man.
What is up with? I guess I've never, and not even trying to crap on them either.
I'll crap on them. I mean,
every time I've seen their figures,
from them. Yeah,
they're like 4 inches, and normally at the stores like my town, they're like $20 or $17.
I'm talking about the ultimate ones, the ones that are $50 that are supposed to come with all the accessories and stuff. So what I think the way they fool me every time is their renders that they come out. Like we're coming out with this figure, the renders look amazing. The renders always look so good, but the actual figures itself look bad. Like
it doesn't. They do.
I noticed the worst one was probably the Tommy one. Like the Tommy one was probably the worst. Like it looked great when they put out like this is what it's going to look like, and when you saw the physical one, it looked horrible. A lot of issues with arms coming off, limbs coming off, joints breaking.
And for $50, I got excited for expect that to be like pristine.
Exactly. And I even got the metallic ones. I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I got the green and white metallic Rangers. And they're not metallic. They're not even glittery. They're just
damn, bro.
They're a little shiny, like glossed, and that is it. There's not, yeah. So every time I try Super 7, they disappoint me. But yes, so I mean, I'm happy about the Squat and Babu, and I know the voice actor for Babu just passed away. So rest in peace to him as well on that. So here's what the figures are going to come in the blister packs, which I'm happy about. I thought they'd come in a blister pack, which I like. I do like the presentation of it. I like the helmets lined up on the side. I think that's going to make it easier for someone like me to give it more of a chance, especially on the flip heads, because I can just leave it on box, hang it up on the wall, and it actually looks pretty good. The Hasbro ones were just green as far as the blister pack. There wasn't really, they were kind of emanating the 1993 versions of it, which was okay, but this one's have a little bit more art to it, a little even more digital art, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think those are good presentations for me so far. The boxing and packaging, I've been digging about that. I don't know. What do you think about that, Dan?
I think it looks a lot better compared to the other stuff, and it catches the eye more, and it looks like something a kid might grab. Now, who knows if they'll actually do it, but if you were to put that packaging and the other Hasbro ones next to each other, I think that kids like overall would gravitate towards these. They're multicolored. I like the helmets are right there on the side. The lightning's going crazy. There's all different colors going on. So like it's kind of like a rainbow. So it breaks off like some kids might gravitate towards the green or the blue or the red. Like, and it all depends where these are. I think if you put these next to the Ninja Turtle line, like by Playmates, it's gonna pop with the colors.
Yeah,
So you put it right there, but it's gonna look different and new because it's not Ninja Turtles. It's got a different logo on it. So
yeah,
I can't wait, man. It's been a while since we've actually had Power Rangers take over some shelves, bro.
for real, man. I think, and this is the second thing I'm most excited about are battle bikes. I love that we're
Did you
doing
see they
vehicles.
be flipping?
I
Did
saw
you see that?
that.
I was like, what? That's cool, bro.
I like again the box. I like the box. It's gonna have the bike and it's gonna have the Ranger right there. These I'll probably take out and put them on the bike. But the only thing I wish they would have, and maybe we'll get them later on, like if they do a pink and yellow, is the sidecars. Maybe we'll get the sidecars for the blue and black. They can do those individually. But I mean, I'm digging them. I'm really liking the battle bikes. I think these are ones. The
Those
Blade
are cool.
Blaster and the battle bikes are probably the top two that I will pick up for myself. That's probably what I'm most excited about. Of course,
And
I'll
I'm gonna
pick up
get
the
the villains
Morpher
for
because I need to
sure.
review it. So, was that?
I'm gonna get those villains for sure.
Yeah, I have to get Squad and Babu. Like, I have to get
A
those.
Rita. I don't got a
Um,
Rita. So, and then while you're at it, you might as well just grab the gold R and the putty because they're like put it all
I need
together.
friends.
Yeah.
I need friends. That's the way it works. So, and these, even those, like my daughter's getting a little bit older. These are might be some ones that, if there's not any little pieces on them, then she might get an action figure or two depending on them. So, okay, so and this is what I was talking about, the Blade Blaster here. Like you see the squared,
Yep.
it's rectangular here on the bottom. But again, if you're only gonna notice if you're displaying it like this. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yep.
that's the only way that's gonna be an issue.
It's
That's
down. So that's
yeah,
probably why they decided to do that. Like, well, really, it's gonna be down this way most of the time. Maybe you're not even gonna notice. So
exactly. Real quick, guys, if you guys are watching me on Instagram, we are doing a giveaway. Move over to Facebook or YouTube so you can be able to play. For some reason, this platform does not pull the comments from Instagram, so just in case you guys are watching over there. Okay, so the next one, oh, well, of course, we got the Dragon Dagger, and we got this from No Pink Spandex. We are having a Dragon Dagger coming out 2026. I can't remember. I don't think they set a price point on this, but if the Blade Blaster is $19.99, the Morpher is $16.99.
this is
I think
probably
this
gonna
is
be
probably
$20. It
that or 18, 19, somewhere around there. So,
You're right.
um,
I don't think it can be more than 20 just because it's
yeah,
not even as much plastic as the Blade Blaster. Like this
right.
thing is probably half the plastic. So, and I know it's Tommy. I know it's an iconic like weapon, but it's got to be 18, 19, $20 at the most.
I think the Dragon Dagger looks okay. The obviously we can see like the blade's a little short. Again, this is meant for kids. Like this is for
Oh
them to
yeah.
play with, right? So,
Nice.
it's pretty accurate other than the size of the blade. I mean, like we got the details on the handle right there. The details on the blade itself. I don't think we have a back version of it, but we never really saw the back in the show. So, and it is going to come with the Dragon Power Coin. And I believe I think it was with Pixel Dan that they tease that they're going to have a Green Ranger, White Ranger, or a Gold Morpher release in the future. So they called this as a teaser for it. But the Dragon coin is going to come with it. I almost want it more for just for the Dragon coin. So
That's cool.
that's just me because I just think Dragon coins are cool. But it's going to have lights and sounds like everything else. I know some people were like, it looks like trash. Well, I think that's hard because when you have the Legacy Dragon Dagger, even the Lightning one was really good, and the 93, like it's going to be hard to measure up to those things. So again, price point meant for kids. If you want the Legacy Dragon Dagger, they're going for $120 right now. This is going to be less than $20. I can
Yep.
guarantee that. So what do you think about it? I mean, you can see the obvious, but what do you think about like the Dragon Dagger in
Oh,
all?
not bad. There's
Yeah,
there's so many people that aren't able to get a hold of a Dragon Dagger or give their kids one or display
yeah,
one, and now you got one for about $20 or less. This isn't bad, and I actually appreciate it. I think the packaging is pretty straightforward, but it looks like the rest of the toys.
yeah,
I like it comes with the little power coin. I
yeah.
think it's cool. Like if this thing was 30, 40, $50, yeah, I get everyone can go crazy, but like just like with those $10 figures, I was never snapping because of how cheap they were. I'm like, I'm not gonna freak out over $10 figures. I'm gonna freak out over $20 Dragon Daggers because that's a great price point. Like anyone, and I get it. times are tough. Like, not everyone's got money to spend $100 on a dragon dagger. So now you can get one and actually have some money left over to do something, like go
You're
somewhere.
going to get 3 roleplay items for under $70. That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah. So you're going to be able to get a dragon dagger, a blade blaster, and a morpher, and you'll be with tax. You'll be under $70.
Yeah, like for 100, you could get you can get all 6 of the flip heads. You can get a morpher and you can get
Yeah.
a blade blaster or dragon
$100.
dagger. Pick one. All for 100. Like,
That first wave would be $100, right? Or we'll take out the Megazord.
yeah, the first wave with the figures would be 60. You're right. And then so it'd be about 100 for everything but the Megazord. So it'd be like 200 or 180, something like that with the Megazord, which isn't horrible. The Megazord's the thing that makes it expensive, if you ask me.
Right. But I mean, it's a Megazord, and it's probably the cheapest Megazord. So one other thing, we are getting a second version of the Megazord. We are getting our electronic Megazord that's going to have lights and sounds. It's not going to be able to come apart, but the eyes are going to light up. It's going to basically look exactly the same. It's just going to have electronics as well. Kind of like we got one in the 90s as well. I think that one was more kind of like, I think it kind of like had a race car, kind of like it can move forward and back.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
I think you're right.
I don't know if this one's going to have that. I didn't remember seeing any displays or demos of that. I do think I saw the lights light up on the eyes, and that's about it. But the next part is we're gonna have miniatures again. So actually, if these come in a nice little box, I like kind of like how they come in where they're selling now, like the Marvel ones and the DC ones. I might pick that up. I like the miniatures. They look like they're in the same poses from the 90s ones. So and I know we didn't get the miniatures we got the micro machines of the Zords, but those look like the micro machines that we got before also. So they look pretty good. Like, I have to say, I don't know. What do you think about the miniatures here?
Dude, I might collect these. These are cool.
Yeah,
I was always a sucker for the miniatures. Like, everyone had those. Then the plushies are cool. Oh, yeah. Going over, I saw those and then everyone's talking about up in that corner right there. You can take it away, Dan.
So I thought when I saw this, I was like, oh, they just put those out to like fill up space. I was like, oh, they're just like they're just like, oh yeah, like here's something from the 90s. Like, just remember these? Okay. I didn't know that they were remade. Freaking like they look exactly the same. There was the only thing I think I said in the video was like, it looks like they maybe touched up the power coins in the middle, but that was it. But these are the complete. I don't know if they don't look any different at all. So they're gonna re-release the 93 8-inch figures. It looks like almost exactly as they were. So I think they said that one's coming out in 2026. They look great. Probably the only thing I think is odd about this is you can probably get each one for about $20 right now on eBay, original, in nice, pretty good condition too, in box and stuff like that. So just kind of wondering where they might price it at, because you got to beat eBay. You got to make people like want it and not necessarily want to go get the original as well. So yeah, that's my only thought on those. But I respect that they're coming out. I have a set of them, no longer on display because we're redoing my office here soon. But yeah, so that's that. What do you think about the 8-inch coming back?
Love it. That's probably my favorite item right there. I think it's cool that they look exactly the same, because there was something special about these. I was around when these came out, and the first one I had was the Black Ranger. And I remember being like 2 or 3, going to Kmart and people fighting over these and then getting up there, and all the red, all the blue, all they had left was yellow and black. That was it. I had to choose between Trini and Zach, and I got Zach, man. I got and it was cool. Like there was just something special about those, and I love that they didn't change anything at all. Like the the icons on the chest never made any sense, because that was not how they were on the show.
I really like that. I've always really liked that on the chest. Like,
just for those figures, though. And obviously, we've talked about like the suits for the movie being so dope, and they did that too, which is kind of probably because of these figures. If you think about it, they were such a hit. But just for this wave, it looks cool. There's something special there. It's awesome that we can like give these to our kids, and the new generation can find these and be like, yo. And I see what Playmates is trying to do. They were coming out with a line that is showing the kids all the cool stuff Power Rangers has to offer, but also showing the older fans, hey, we're going to have a few things for y'all too. Like, and not necessarily for collectors, but at the same time, like, how many collectors are going to want these just to kind of display them or have them? Or I know as like creators, I want to open these up and compare them, bro, to the, I have like a whole set of open 8-inch figures. Like, we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, man. I think they're a good call. It's a good call. And I think, again, it's like another thing that you can give your kids so they don't play with your original 93 ones. Like, it's just, there's a lot of good aspects to these as well. So, overall, I think the Playmates presentation that they had at Toy Fair was really good. Thanks to Montyverse and No Pink Spandex for representing the fandom, giving us about a bunch of good information and good pictures. No Pink Spandex in particular took some amazing pictures of that stuff. So make sure to go check her out on Instagram and Facebook. And so if you want to see the rest of the pictures that she took, but yeah, like I think we're off to the right foot. I know a lot of the diehards aren't happy with this line because they wanted something for them. Again, this line wasn't meant for collectors. This was meant to bring in new kid fans, to new kids, new fans, new young fans. So, and I've said this many times, and we've both said it. Little ones drive economy, essentially, as far as entertainment goes. So if you want something to do well, you need to win over the kids to do for that franchise or brand to do well. We've seen in Star Wars, Marvel, DC, all those things keep on going because kids want the stuff that they put out. All the toys, the backpacks, the shoes, the clothes, what the lunch boxes, whatever. That's what happens with those ones. And that's a good point, Patrick. Hey, does 8-inch figures come in green? I think it's safe to say it'll come in green and in white. So one thing that did say, as far as Montyverse said, was that they're only going to be focusing on Mighty Morphin for the Playmates, that they are not going to be, it's going to be by season. So they only have a plan for 3 years right now. They have a plan for season 1, for season 2, and for season 3 up into which means we're going to get to the Ninja Zords. We're going to get some Thunder Zords, which I think everyone like me is happy about because I would love a Red Dragon Thunder Zord. That's just saying. I would think that'd be even more so than the Thunder Megazord itself. I would love a Red Dragon Thunder Zord. So for me, that's something like I would really, really gravitate towards. But so they don't have any plans right now for Zeo and beyond, any other of the 27 years of Power Rangers, because they just have that plan for Mighty Morphin. Now, they said if these 3 years they do well on these 3 seasons, then there's the possibility of them going beyond. So that tells me that Hasbro gave them the license for 3 years. That is what it is. Or Hasbro gave them the license probably for 4 years, a year to begin production, and then at the end of the third wave is what we're going to, or the third season is when they'll decide whether they keep the line and do Zeo and continue on with Turbo and stuff like that. So, guys, Mighty Morphin for now. That's all we're going to get. They did tease a collector line in the future. Again, that all depends on how this line does as well. So if you want to see something, maybe, even if you're not like, gets the one thing that you like the most, maybe just pick out one of those figures, and maybe that helps us get to a collector line as well. Of course, if you can. And all these things are luxury items, and these are all depending on if you're able to get them yourself. So, of course, spend responsibly. I think, do you have any last words before we get to the reboot and the first giveaway?
Just to all the fans that are kind of pissed about this, just take a deep breath and realize that this isn't necessarily for us, but the price point is where we want it to be. And right now, times are hard. Like he said, these are luxury items, but they're not priced like luxury items. So there's going to be some things that you're not going to love, but at the same time, I would support this the best way you can, even if there's just a figure you like. Go ahead and support. It's not horrible.
Yeah, that'd be my thoughts as well. So the first giveaway today, #pig. Put in the comments if you would like this Pudgy Pig giveaway. I don't know. Maybe I should put myself on real quick just so you can see it. But we'll be giving this away. #pig in the comments. And yeah, this is probably gonna be my most expensive shipping because this thing is freaking heavy, man. I'm not gonna tell you, like, that is insane. So this was the 2021 PulseCon exclusive. I know people were finding this at Ross. We got some extra ones, but yeah, guys, hashtag pig if you're interested in this. I know there's 43 people right now here that I can see. So if you guys are on Instagram or on Instagram, come over to Facebook or YouTube. That way you can enter because it won't pull your comments from Instagram if you're interested in the giveaway. So we'll give that a couple. I think we'll give that like 2 minutes because we already got quite a bit of people that already entered. Let's see, 15 entered. Let's go ahead and share that screen real quick. Actually, I already have it shared. Where'd it go? There it goes. There it goes. For what they call it. I always forget the word when I'm on. For transparency. That's what we're doing. Transparency. All right, guys. We're still getting a couple comments in. All right. I think we're good. We got Cameron saying, Daniel, what's up, man? That's awesome. All right, guys. We're going to close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck to the winner.
Here we
And see who
go.
won.
Here we go. Here we go.
Caden Morrow is the winner. That's looks like he's a first time winner. All right, Caden. So the best way to get a hold of me is you can go to Instagram and send me a message to let me know that you're the winner, or you can email me at thelegacyofnerd@gmail.com. So just go ahead over there and send me your info. That way I can get that out to you, man. So congratulations to Caden. So what everyone's here to talk about, the reboot. So we're going to start with the history lesson. Okay. So we'll start at the beginning. We'll start with Netflix. And one thing that I'm going to talk about with you guys today is the first piece of inside information I got about the reboot when it was under Netflix. So I'm going to tell you guys, I technically have not gotten permission to share this information, but we're so past it. I think it's okay that it's out. So you guys are going to get some inside information. That's like a year or two old, but you're going to understand why we're getting from Netflix to where we are now. It's going to make more sense for you guys. So everyone go. Congratulations. I didn't pull up a visual, so we will just kind of talk here for a second. So if you remember, what was it in 2019? So Hasbro bought Power Rangers in 2018. In 2019, they put out their first thing that they actually intended to make a sequel to the Power Rangers that we got in 2017 with the amazing, the best, Ranger of all time, Becky G. And then we got Naomi Scott, Dacre Montgomery, RJ Cyler, and Ludi Lin. But of course, Becky G was the star of that show, as we all know, the star of the movie. But and nobody can change my mind. Nobody can honestly say any different and not give me proof. Anyways, never mind that there was Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Banks and Bill Hader and all those people in it. Anyways, but so they were saying they were going to make a sequel. Then they came back and said that they're going to make a new live action movie. And that first thing they told us was that it was going to be Rangers from the future coming back to help the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and this was going to be a movie. Then COVID happened, and then during COVID, they're like, "Never mind, we're going to make it a series." And they signed Jonathan Entwistle and Jenny Klein. So Jonathan Entwistle, who you guys know is the director of Karate Kid Legends. He went over to the Karate Kid universe. And that's where his next movie is going to be. But they hired Jonathan Entwistle and Jenny Klein. And they were going to be Jonathan Entwistle was going to be like he's going to write it, and Jenny Klein was going to be the showrunner. So she was going to like make the Bible, and Jonathan Entwistle was going to execute it, right? So that was the big thing, and we sat on that forever until that was our plan. We were told we were going to get that, and then we saw he got hired for Karate Kid, and they were saying like, "I said, this Karate Kid is done. We're started on Power Rangers," and that was what we got. So I remember it was in the summer was when I think Jinsaku released information that the series was going to be like I think he had said like there was going to be a female Red. It was not going to be Mighty Morphin, but there was going to be a female Red. Tommy was still going to be in it, and then Tommy was going to like be evil and betray the team. He's going to be like in from the beginning, and then would have like different characters. It would still be an Angel Grove, but that you might see a Jason, but he may not be the Red Ranger yet. It just like be basically a different multiverse version. And that news pissed off everybody. It just seemed nobody liked what they were doing with this. So this was Jinsaku's information on that. And so at that time, I reached out to a source, and they basically told me, "Don't spread that." Is what they told me. It was like that. Don't do that. So I want to say it was before we got to Paramount. So Paramount was the next one we got to, but that was the information we kind of got. I know me, Hugh, I think Deoxy, maybe Dawson Reiner kind of spread that information as well, but we all kind of talked about it. Then Christmas Eve, we got this news from Daniel RPK and from Jinsaku. And Jinsaku again, which I know a lot of people have opinions about Jinsaku in the community. Take it as you will. So what they had said happened was that at that time, the information was that Paramount had a list of projects on their to-do slate. There's things that they were interested in doing. One of them was a Power Rangers live action movie, and Jinsaku and Daniel RPK came out and said that, basically Paramount was going to take over Power Rangers. Jinsaku went further. Okay, Daniel RPK also said there would be a possibility of an animated series. Jinsaku went further and said that Paramount was interested in buying the IP from Hasbro as a whole. And so that was the information that we got at that time, that we were going to have a live action movie. And a lot of us kind of even me, I gravitated toward it because I was like, Daniel RPK said that. Now, he may not have the best track record, but he has one. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. And so, I know again, we're as content creators, we're careful with what Jinsaku says, right? So I reached out to my source a little bit before this, and I was like, what have you heard? And this person told me was that, okay, guys, this is the part that ears up sort of thing. So that Hasbro checked in with Jonathan Entwistle before the Paramount stuff and basically found out that he had done nothing. He had never not worked on Power Rangers once so bad, and he already been paid. He had gotten bullet points of what he wanted to do, I think it was what to say. And Hasbro had hired him to fill in a lot of the details, what the power set was going to be, what the suits were going to look like where the story was going to go. Jenny Klein was going to do the Power Ranger Bible, hire the casting, overall plot points of the series, and then Jonathan Entwistle was going to fill in all the details, right? Except he didn't fill in all the details. He had told Hasbro, I don't want to design the suits. I want you to hire somebody else to design the suits. Here's my friend, hire him. And Hasbro was like, well, you said we hired you to do that. And what the thing that I had gotten was that the season was very much was not going to be any different than, say, Samurai. It was going to be very, very similar to Samurai. It was going to be just like Power Rangers as we knew it. It wasn't going to be a remodernization. It wasn't going to be a retelling. That it was going to be, well, it might have been a moderation retelling, but it wasn't going to be it was still going to be a Monster of the Week sort of situation. So it wasn't going to have a bigger picture to it. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah. So they were kind of waiting for his contract to expire so they could figure out what they were going to do, is what I was told. And basically he was just he was not interested in doing this, from what I understand. Basically he was, what I think personally was he was holding on this until he could get something better. And he did get something better with Karate Kid. And that's where he went. So that's my information on that. Oh well, that's kind of what it's, that's how we get why Jonathan Entwistle was no longer involved with the Netflix project. So what we had heard at that time is that Netflix was basically didn't like this idea that they were pushing on, that Jonathan Entwistle was going through. So they were because the whole series was supposed to happen on Netflix, right? Everything Netflix was supposed to redo the whole Power Rangers brand, and they were just nah, we're good. We don't like this plan. We're out, and Netflix is out.
Crazy.
Right? That's why Netflix is not going to be where Power Rangers is going to be, as where we found Disney was going to be at, right? Yeah. So, and then we all thought it was going to go to Paramount, and that didn't happen. We were all thinking, could it be a Paramount Plus situation with the animated series? That streaming platform is really growing as well. They have a lot of good stuff on there that I'm currently watching. I'm watching Yellow Jackets, watching 1923, watching Yellowstone. They have a lot of good stuff on there right now. So that they have, I think they're a platform that is kind of rising above some of the others right now. So we were like kind of seeing what they're doing with Sonic as well. Like a lot of us were happy about that, right?
Yeah.
So I know we've heard a lot of couple things in between, but the news that we got yesterday was probably the most concrete news that we have gotten since they hired Jonathan Innes. It's like, because this is like from the Wrap. This is like an established publication. Every major entertainment news website felt comfortable enough sharing this information. I can say right now it is probably where I would say it is. It's not going to 100% happen. It's not going to happen until it comes on screen, right? Like right now, they're in talks to hire the showrunners for Percy Jackson, which are Jonathan Steinberg and Dan Schatz, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Which I know Percy Jackson is getting a lot of love. Is getting a lot of love.
It was good.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I watched the first season with my wife. It was actually really good. And it's like, I swear when I was watching this, I was like, why can't like some of the shows I like do stuff like this, man? So like, and what I liked about it was adults could watch it, but yet like it was almost targeted for like young adults, teenagers. So like, I don't know. I think that they like if they're gonna make it anything like Percy Jackson, they stand a chance. They really do. I think that there's some hope there. And the one thing that I like is there's some actual names attached to this. When we heard all of this Paramount news, there was no names attached to it.
It was just concept. Yeah.
And it didn't really make sense. So like these guys, they're linked to Disney Plus. Like if you look at all the shows that they do that ends up like coming out to this platform, because everyone was like, what, why would it go to Disney Plus? Well, it's because if they work with these two, that's probably where it's going to be pushed out at. I think it's cool. It's still like one of those things where nothing has been confirmed, but like what you said, so many people have talked about it. It's definitely became like a real piece of news at this point, not just a rumor.
Like Variety, Comic Book, Discussing
IGN.
Film, IGN, like a lot of reputable news sources.
Yeah.
Felt, I guess you could say, put in the work, validated this, and then
these guys have sources. Yep, they have people that like they work with all the time for these stories. So they probably just checked it and they're like, well, everyone else talk about, can I run it? And they probably were told they could, because Hasbro's one of those companies where they don't let information leak, like unless they want it to leak. They're the weird, like when Power Rangers was under like Bandai and Disney, I felt like all the time we got some type of leaks. With Hasbro, it is crazy how much they've locked things up. I mean, for a whole 2 years, we haven't known anything.
Right. So there's some good questions, and I think I want to go through some of these questions real quick. So one of the first one is Hasbro selling it to Disney, or am I misunderstanding? They have not sold it to Disney. So this deal is that Hasbro is going to produce it, and then Disney is going to air it on Disney Plus.
It's now, similar to the whole Sony Goosebumps thing. So Sony made Goosebumps, and then Goosebumps is on Disney Plus. Yep.
Exactly. Now, I know it says Disney Plus, but I could also see this really showing up on Hulu because of that deal.
Both of them. Yep.
I could see that happening as well. I really hope Hasbro sells to Power Rangers to Disney. We'll talk about that in a second. What a flake. Yeah. That I know apparently Hasbro was really I can't side with Hasbro on a lot of things, but people not doing their work is one thing that I don't like. So why bother signing on? I have money, taking a paycheck. You didn't have a job until you got to Karate Kid. Just message me, man. So is Paramount doing the movie? Disney just doing the show? I would have to say I don't think Paramount is in part of this anymore. I would think if Disney got the show to be on their platform, I'm sure there's a deal that says that they would distribute a movie if it was made.
Hasbro isn't double dipping. They're not paying for both at one time. And this, like, let's just be honest. When I heard that Paramount $150 million like budget movie thing, like I was excited, but I didn't
Yeah.
think it made 100% sense. This makes sense because there's multiple episodes. If you have one bad episode, you can move around. If
Right.
you put a movie
One
out and it
movie, you're done.
sucks,
Yeah.
there goes the whole franchise. So like this is something you can build towards. Like I think it's a good idea. We'll see if it actually happens, just because you're talking about the Jonathan Entwistle thing. Anything can happen, but I
Right.
feel like I'm a lot more hopeful if we got these guys involved, because they're actually working on stuff right now that people like. And the Jonathan Entwistle thing is crazy because I think that he possibly used Power Rangers as leverage.
I think so too.
You're right.
And
Like,
yeah.
and part of it was too, we know something got canceled. We know they were working on something, and that's why just out of nowhere they gave us Once and Always, and they gave us Cosmic Fury. So like we don't really know what happened. Part of me thinks it was Jonathan Entwistle's fault. Part of me is like Jonathan Entwistle was probably like in the middle for so long. He's like, well, let me go get something else. But he probably leveraged Power Rangers. Like I'm working to build this whole world for Power Rangers. Let me do the same for you. Like but
Yeah.
we'll never know.
I don't know. Maybe it'll come out someday and kind of admit to it. But so here's another question that's good too. Is it going to be a reboot series or a Sentai adaptation? So
Original.
I think it's going to be reboot. It's going to be original. I think Sentai is out. They're not going to use Sentai anymore. It's not profit productive to do it. I would think so for Hasbro, or in conjunction with Disney as well, because Hasbro wants to own 100% of everything that they do. So they own Power Rangers. They own the concepts of Power Rangers, everything that was shown in Power Rangers, right? So I understand that's on Sentai as well, like, but like that all came from Sentai, but they own everything that came in Power Rangers, and they don't want to rely on another company to make them to have to do anything that they want to do. Right? So that's why in Cosmic Fury, like that was them like, we're getting ready to do something different. Like this is not the plan going forward. So I don't see them adapting any Sentai going forward other than maybe reimagining Mighty Morphin. And that's it. So Percy, and here's a good point. Percy Jackson cashed in on the readers that grew up with the series and gained a bigger following. And that's why I think they're looking at these guys, because they cashed in on a book series that came out years ago.
Yep.
And they're adults and watching those shows with their kids. What is Power Rangers now? If not the same thing. It wasn't a book. It was just a TV series. So I think that's why they're thinking these are the best people for the job. And you're right. And season 2 hasn't even come out yet of Percy Jackson, and they already
greenlit for the third season. Like,
that's so cool. Says, wow, that if it ultimately works out this time, Power Rangers essentially ends up back on Fox. That's a good point. I didn't think about that, because, and this is the reason I think that it might be on Hulu, because it is going to be it's going to be through their 20th Century division. That's why I think it might be on Hulu, and that's where a lot of their 20th Century is going, is Hulu right now, like the Bear and stuff like that. So now we'll talk about this, because I talked about this in my last video too, and I think some people got mad at me about it because they thought, or maybe they're hearing me incorrectly. Oh, real quick, we got a super chat. Hold on, I don't know where did it go. The Nura says, the question of whether or not is NPR is based on one to think. I get that Gen Z can't resonate with Jason in the game, but they are the bedrock. It's gonna be. I think it's more than likely going to be a form of MMPR. It may not be verbatim, but it's going to be very much based on MMPR. What do you think, Dan?
What, the new series? What it's going to be? Yeah. I think it's probably going to be Mighty Morphin, but I would love for them to try something different. But if it's the Percy Jackson guys, they kind of took what was great about Percy Jackson and elevated it. They're probably going to take the good stuff about Power Rangers and elevate it. So that means karate, dinosaurs, spandex suits, Zordon, probably. Like, there's going to be some things that just go with Power Rangers. And I would love to see something original. It would be awesome. Or maybe it's a mixture. Maybe it's like
I could do with a mixture. I think
like a new team, but there's old, kind of like on some Once and Always, where like there are older Rangers, but we're gonna focus on like the kid Rangers, or the the family range, like maybe not Min, but imagine like Min and a rest of the team of like descendants from Power Rangers, and then we're dealing with those kids. And so you could make new characters for a new generation, but you could also bring in like, I don't know, like a Steve Cardenas or a Jason Fawn or whoever you want as a Power Ranger to come make an appearance. Like, it'd be cool, but they don't necessarily have to always be there either. Like, that's what's cool about this show is like, or you could just go all original. And like, it's crazy though, because what would you do? Would you do something that's like old school, or would you make something new school, or would you say screw it, let's combine them, let's make a new show with old characters?
I think you have to make it recognizable. I think you would have to in some way, whether it's the Zords or the characters or the colors or whatever or the suits. Like there has to be some sort of thing that people can go and like, oh yeah, that's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I grew up with that. Let me watch this. This is the new version of that. You know what I mean? Like you have to come back to it in some way that where like people are like, I recognize that, and because we've seen Mighty Morphin continuously sell well. Like it always sells well. It doesn't matter what it is. You can put, Green Ranger Funko Pop next to a blue Ninja Steel Pop. What do you think is going to still sell better? Like being realistic, you know what I mean? It's always going to be Mighty Morphin. And
what if they did like some, you know how like Amy Jo Johnson has her return comic?
Right.
What if they hit up Amy and was like, yo, you're going to be the mom now, like, and we're going to take some elements from the comics, like. That would be cool because you're taking characters we haven't seen in a long time, but also giving us new stories. It's interesting, but like, I don't know, man. There's 1,000 ways
I could see something like that happening. Now, Amy Jo specifically, Amy Jo is not going to work on anything that she is not like making herself. You know what I mean? Like she has power over something. I don't see that happening with her specifically. Now, with any other of the cast, absolutely. But with Amy Jo in particular. Now, if they adapt elements of the return and decide to go like that route with
call her a producer or something, she might, yeah, she gets a
but they have to give her.
credit.
I think the whole point is they have to give her power, and Hasbro has continuously told her no because Hasbro is still in control of what's going to happen creatively on this show, right? So,
gotcha.
I think that's the only thing with Amy. Now, I can obviously see Walter falling in line and doing anything. David Yost, I could see him falling in line as long as they take some of his notes. Austin, whatever, they decide to go that route. He's gonna do honestly. He'd be so happy to be back. He'd do whatever they say. So, those as far as those three go, I don't see it, or those four go. Amy Jo would be the only one that I would say like she would needs 51% control of something. You know what I mean? So that's my only thing with that. So now back, I know we deviated some. I want to go back to talking about the Disney part. So I said in my video, Disney hates putting out things that are successful that they don't own. So they hate working on things. So we've seen it like before with the Hulk, right? They hate that they can't make their own solo Hulk movie, or they couldn't for a long time because Universal owned the solo right movies to a Hulk movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw Star Wars. They bought this whole thing of Star Wars. They literally bought Fox so they could have the original 3 movies. Yep. They bought one of the biggest studios in history of the world so they could have 3 movies to complete their collection of Star Wars movies. Like literally. So say this goes and does well. Do I see Disney inquiring with Hasbro about buying Power Rangers? Absolutely.
Oh yeah. If it does well, but then Hasbro probably won't want to sell if it does well, right? It's interesting.
I don't know. So here's the thing: they've sunk. I think was it when they bought Power Rangers? It was at a $1 billion worth, and they bought it at sticker price, right? So
yeah, they bought it for like a $500 million. I thought they didn't. Yeah, it was like
$500 million, and then there was a bunch of those options and other stuff that they bought, their stocks and other stuff that made the whole total cost and worth $1 billion, right? Or closer to $1 billion. Now, they want their return on it. The reason that they haven't sold a franchise up to this date is because they've been licensing out and just getting whatever they can off of it. They're not going, and they just sold E1. They sold their studio off, right? So they are not in a position where they can take a loss on an IP. And that's why their goal has been to collect IPs and do what they're doing with Power Rangers, like with Playmates, and basically put them out in the world and say, like, you guys make and send me your my 30% or 40% profit, and you guys take all the risk and all the costs and all production. Because we're basically, Hasbro said that they don't want to make toys anymore. They want to collect, they want to make IPs. They want to make money off IPs, is what they said.
Yep.
And they literally said that in a profit meeting with their investors. So that is what they said. So when I see people that want to buy Power Rangers, Disney is the only one that can afford it at sticker price, at what they would want. Now, like you said, there becomes the issue, like, if it does well, would they want to sell it? I don't know. They haven't sold G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe's had low points. They haven't sold Transformers. Transformers had low points, but they keep on with them, right? So I don't know. I guess, what do you, after I kind of said that whole spiel, what do you think about what I said there? Yeah.
So I think people forget, like, so if they never released the Hasbro numbers, but you can go and look at like the merchandise numbers all the way up to like 2017, 2018 and see what, like, so, but even in like a 2018 year, they were pulling in like 300, 400 million, something like that. It was wild. So like, if they bought it at $500 million and within those 4 or 5 years, they at least made their money back from it. To your point, they're not going to sell it because like G.I. Joe, even on off years, they make a few $100 million because of old collectors and stuff, things you don't even think about. It makes a cool $100 million on an off year. And that's kind of where Power Rangers is at. It's not at the peak, but because there are fans like me or you that, like, we crave this stuff, we want to go out and buy this stuff, like, easily they'll be able to generate their money back. But they're sitting there like, okay, we probably made our return at this point, but we want to go big. They never got to actually cash in their lottery ticket. They got this ticket, and their idea was they were going to go out and basically remake Power Rangers the way they thought it. And you know, as you know, the old CEO, I think Brian Goldner was his name. He was the one that was on board for it. He really had the vision for Power Rangers. And after he died, the other dude, Chris Cox, he took over, and he was more like a video game guy. He's more of a tech guy. And moving forward, when you go listen to their stuff, it's all about cards. It's all about video games, but it's not about toys when you listen to him. And that sucks for some of these brands that are big off of toys. Like Power Rangers wouldn't be half of what it is without the toys. So if we're not running toys, we're probably not running other things. So the fact that like they found someone that actually wants to work on this is freaking huge.
Yeah. I think that's, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of these, because I think the showrunners have their own studio that they would probably have it like kind of like in conjunction with as well, like their own production studio. And I could see them. I could see a lot of these little production studios wanting in on Power Rangers because they see the potential in it, right? And there's a lot of nostalgia in it. And a lot of these people that are writing these shows now and producing these shows and directors, they're me and Dan's age. They grew up watching Power Rangers as well. So this is like, imagine these are like the comic book creators that are, you know, they grew up on Batman and Superman and they're writing their stories themselves now. You know what I mean? Like, this is the same thing. And Power Rangers is that same thing to them. Like, you guys, I think it's hard for a lot of the younger generation to know like how big Power Rangers was.
Yes.
Imagine with these things, like we saw, like, I couldn't even remember Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man at the beginning of this, but that was huge for like 6 weeks, right? And Game of Thrones, like, those are all have like these super high points, but they're only high when the show was on. This show was so big, it was selling toys when the show wasn't on. Like, throughout, you know, from season 1 to season 2, it was still selling out on stuff. The only thing I could compare it to is Pokemon. That is the only thing I could compare it to, because imagine in the age of no social media, where literally it's just TV commercials and newspapers and that was getting it done
And
at
stores, yeah.
monumental levels, right? And it wasn't like the flavor of the week how things are now. Like it didn't stop for 3 years. Like
No.
literally, it was impossible to get these things. I didn't find a White Ranger metallic toy until I was 36 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's put it that way.
You're
Like, I
right,
couldn't
bro.
find one for a decent price like that until I was 36 years old. And because these things were just like flying off the shelves all the times. Not until we got to Zeo, you finally start to see things. Like, or I would even say, even the Alien Rangers. I remember those battle boards were hard to find. I really wanted a bunch of them, and I remember my parents really struggled to get the battle boards. Like,
I
and those
just
weren't like
started collecting those, bro.
they're expensive, and the thing is, like, those weren't real. Alien Rangers wasn't a big thing when I was going out. Like, Power Rangers was obviously on its way down. There you go. I have a whole set of them packed up. Someday this office will be redone, and you guys can get the fruits of it. It's very much more organized now. I will say that I cleaned it up so much. I'll give you guys, maybe I'll do a tour video. I was thinking about like the in between video, but anyways, um yeah, so like this is how big that show was. So I know a lot of people say like they want to see the season they grew up on. The thing is, like, that you didn't see how big it was. It's like Pikachu for the entire Mighty Morphin. Like, it's like that's how big it is and how iconic. I don't want to say iconic, but just like brand recognizable Mighty Morphin is. So what do you think, Dan? Oh, look at what I said there.
No, I 100% agree. I always tell people that, like, us super fans, we've got our favorite seasons. We know all about a Time Force, a Lost Galaxy, a Dino
Yeah,
Fury. The general public and mainstream audience doesn't even know what a Time Force or a Dino Fury is. Most
right,
people don't really know Power Rangers besides Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So
right,
that's why they always plug it, because Power Rangers is a mainstream brand that people know, but they don't know much beyond Mighty Morphin. People remember the Mighty Morphin movie. They remember Jason. I have a buddy that like he was big into Power Rangers when he was like 5 or 6, but doesn't know anything past like Jason and
right,
Kimberly and Trini.
right.
Like, he had no idea who Rocky was. He like, what are you talking about? Rocky, Adam, like Aisha. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, like there, that first season captivated a lot of people, and yes, they kept it number one for like 3-4 years, if you will. But there was something special about those first few years that everyone gravitates towards, and I've noticed that for kids, it's the suits, man. The people
Yeah,
just like, there's something special about the colors and the suits and the
yeah.
helmets. People gravitate towards those.
It really just was lightning in a bottle with those first seasons. Like, absolutely.
It
And
was.
especially the first season in particular with dinosaurs and everything. It was perfect at that time. So um guys, we are kind of coming to our last couple of topics. So we are going to do Dan's giveaway here at the end. So if you guys are watching on Instagram and you guys want to enter to win, you got to come over to YouTube or Facebook for it to let you enter. But the casting, I know everybody's been talking about this in the casting. So we talked about this a little bit last time during the Paramount news, but this is what everybody wants. This is what everybody wants is Robbie from Cobra Kai to be the new Green Ranger, and I don't think he'd do it, to be honest with you. He I put this picture up here because he just everyone's always said like he looks a lot like Tommy, right? He looks so much like Jason David Frank here in this picture, more than any other picture that I've ever seen, even when he has long hair here. And yes, I think he would make a really great Tommy. I just don't think he would do it. Can you think of any actors that you think could maybe pull off a Tommy yourself that is known? Because I think more than likely they're gonna have to go unknown with this.
Oh man, I don't know,
It's
bro.
hard, right? Yeah.
I've never even thought about that. Like, who would we get to play Tommy? I mean, like the Cobra Kai cast, there are some good ones there. I know you're always like sharing that stuff, and I'm like,
I
man,
mean,
like,
people think I troll, but here's the thing: like every time I put it up, it's a really big reaction of it.
yeah,
So, like that's
I
the
get
thing,
it.
like, yeah, and it seems to be like more people like the idea than don't.
Oh yeah.
And and do I think everything with every single cast member would translate? No, but you put it out there, it makes people talk, and people talk makes internet traffic, and internet traffic leads to a show showing up on Disney Plus. So that's why I put things up there like that.
Yeah.
So, not saying it was all because of me. I'm saying no. It's you continuing to talk about the brand. What makes the brand relevant is what it is. It's me.
Dan said that he's the reason why Power Rangers coming to
You know
Disney Plus.
just quote it. Call me Dan Saku. How about that? There you go. But I really couldn't think. This is the only one. This is what seems the community gravitates to. I just really don't see him doing it. I've seen him being asked about it before, and every time he gets asked about it, he makes a face. So I think he gets asked about it in private, maybe a lot, or in passing a lot, and he just I don't think he wants to do it, but he would be great for it. I agree. Now, the one that I think would do great, and I think has the best opportunity to be able to do it, is Dallas Dupree, also from Cobra Kai. He would make amazing Zach the Black Ranger. And I know people are like, "Oh, you're just redoing black with black," and I'm like, dude, I see more people that are black that think that would want to have the Black Ranger be a black kid. And I think this kid, he's young enough. He did a great job on Cobra Kai. He's a great martial artist, or at least we see, or at least a TV martial artist, right? I don't know if he has the actual training. I'm sure he does at least TV version of it. But I think he'd be a great Zach. I've seen who's the kid? What was the other one I saw from Stranger Things? I saw him as a thought. As for Zach, can you think of any good Zachs?
Shit, dude,
I can't. I really can't either. Maybe someone. And I saw this suggestion. I can't remember his name, but it was a kid from Penguin, the one that was Penguin's. I saw him as a good suggestion for Miles Morales, but he might be a good Zach also.
That'd be cool. So it sounds like we're actually going to get teenagers then. If they do, if this whole Disney Plus thing is real, like these guys are used to working with teenagers and stuff, so that would be cool.
That's true. That's another good point to it, and that's another thing to kind of like bring over from Percy Jackson, the idea of the Percy Jackson showrunners. Now, I do want to say, and I did clarify this in my video as well, and I think you did too, Dan. They're in talks to be showrunners. This is not official. The report says that they are in talks to do that. So they are being courted to come over to Power Rangers as well. So it's not, that part is not official. The part that we saw is official is that there's planning a show on Disney Plus, a series to reinvigorate the franchise. So we don't know if it's, I guess technically we don't know if it's necessarily a reboot or a continuation of the series. But I did hear from, I'm not gonna say that, but we don't know that for sure at that time. So I do hear that of Min coming back as far as Charlie Kirsch. I've heard that idea as well from comments and fans. I don't know. It just depends on what direction. So here's the thing. I don't know. You guys, I'll take the analogy of football. So when you get a new head coach a lot, you get a new quarterback a lot of the time, right?
Yep.
So Min and Charlie Kirsch are not people that these showrunners selected. I'm sure these showrunners want to cast their own people, right? So unless they are a Tom Brady or a LeBron James that are and there's a coaching change, there's probably going to be a big change on who's going to be on the team, right? So I don't necessarily see Charlie Kirsch coming on. If them coming on as showrunners. Now, if they bring back the original crew from New Zealand, big possibility. But I don't see that happening. I don't know. What do you think about the Min Kwan situation?
Yeah, it just sounds like Min was a one-off, unfortunately. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get more of that character, but I mean, they left it open so they could always go back. But as of right now, it seems like they're probably going to want to cast their own people, like you said, and do their own thing. And we don't even know if it's going to be a continuation, if it's going to be in its own universe. There's like 3 different ways they could go. They could make it a completely different universe. They could make it in the same universe. They could make it like a halfway where it's its own thing, but every once in a while you see pop-ups from different characters and stuff. Like, it's cool. I mean, I think there's potential there, but I think that, like, to think that you're going to get anything in the last few years, I don't think that's going to happen. But who knows? You know, I don't think you're going to see the Morphin Masters, even though that'd be cool. I don't think you're going to see like Zato and Ion and Min. You know, I think a lot of those new characters might kind of be wiped away, but who knows?
Right? Who knows? I mean, I could see them going, if they decide to do a continuation time, like the Kids of.
That would be fun.
I just don't know if they would still. I think they would use them like kind of like Halloween. Like, let's ignore Halloween 2 and 3 or all the other ones, and we're making a new 2, and then ignoring Once and Always. And even if they brought the original cast back for some parts, I don't know. Charlie knocked it out with the role. I hope they bring her back somehow in the universe. I think that's a possibility of her coming back in a different way, maybe, but I don't know if that would be like, again, I think part of the deal, if I would want to come on and do a show, is I would want not to be strangleholded by anything. That there'd be some couple important points, but as far as everything else, I would want complete control of what is
do what
going
I
on.
want to do and have there be
Exactly.
freedom. Yeah.
And if you're going to want people that are running a very successful show like Percy Jackson, Hasbro's going to more than relent and say you have creative control, and that's what's going to happen. So you have to do this and this and this. You can't use guns, or you can't do this and that. You know, whatever they have as far as what, like, some things. There's a little bit of things of do's and don'ts that every studio will have, but other than that, a lot of these times are like, yeah, it's never going to happen, bro. They're never going to adapt Kinoger. Kinoger's going to stay in Japan. Sorry, man.
No, unfortunately,
it's never going to happen. They're never going to adapt Super Sentai ever again. I don't ever see that happen.
Dude, you know what would be awesome? So, you know, like, fans be like doing it there needs to be like whoever the big like Power Ranger YouTube channel is that makes all the, I don't know, you know, either Shatter, they literally, Toei needs to make a contract with one of these Power Ranger like channels, that because they're literally making really good stuff, and they would love to work with the Super Sentai footage.
Well, I asked the Super Sentai actors when I did their panel at NostalgiaCon. I did a panel with them if they would ever be open to that, like doing like a cameo like on Shattered Grid or Unworthy or anything like that. And they said they would. And then I talked to their manager, and their manager said they are open to it, but they have to get permission from Toei because they're only allowed to do official things. So that would be the only issue.
With that's why Toei would have to get involved. That's like,
Toei would have to get involved. So
Power Ranger ass stuff, you could still adapt Sentai scenes. It could just be some like, dude, and Hasbro could probably make a little money off it too. Like
yeah,
imagine Hyperforce, but with real, like, half of it footage from Japanese and half of it footage from like the Shattered Grid people.
That would be interesting. That'd be super interesting. I'm sure Colin and DJ would love
just
that.
Coming up with ideas. You know, another idea we had that this just, I think this is gold. So, you know, we always talk about like a preschool show, right? Well, the Disney Channel sent right there, bro. Let's get a Disney Junior Power Ranger show and
absolutely
make it PJ Masks, bro.
Yes,
that's owned by Hasbro. They need to make like a show just like it, and then they can put them together to sell. Like, you could make a Power Ranger PJ Masks special, dog.
I completely agree with you on that. And I've talked about that before. I think we've talked about that together. That would be the smartest thing that they could do. And those things are not, as far as like making shows, those are some of the cheapest to do. But yeah, they absolutely need to do that. One thing, you know, before we get to Reina here, I do want to talk about the Jenna Frank, and because someone did bring up here a question about how do you deal with Tommy situation here. Well, this is how I would deal with creatively with Tommy. If you're going to do a continuation of the show, you're going to do what the Return did, but instead of him miraculously coming back, he doesn't. So you start the show with a Green Ranger making a sacrifice to save the world, and it sets up somehow your episode 1 of your new of them having to deal with it, but he goes out saving everybody, and the new team having to deal with the consequences of what he had done. Basically, that's how you bring back. That's how you deal with the Tommy situation. You
That's
have
wild.
to let Tommy go.
Dude,
That's how
you'd have to hire Captain Sutherland to be there. Be like, Tommy, like man.
But again, you're not. Here's the thing: you're not pigeonholed by any. I think other than like the characters being that they exist, you're not pigeonholed by story. So I wouldn't even. Would you put Catherine? Did you said it yourself? People remember Kimberly. They don't remember Catherine. They don't remember Rocky. If you do a continuation, you're going original.
You're right. Original. Yeah.
I love Catherine.
Kat, though. She's my favorite.
She's awesome, man. She's a great actor. She's a great person. I met her many times. This is what I would do creatively as well. And then Jenna Frank. I could see Jenna Frank popping up. I don't know if I see her being cast completely in it. That depends on how her, see if she has the acting skills, and they would want.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that, and not even like throwing her under the bus or anything, but like I've never seen her act before, so like
I've never seen Legend on the White Dragon yet, so I know Aaron said it's going to come out this year. Is his plan for it to come out, but until then, I can't really say how Jenna does as acting. She knows, that's how it is right now until we see it. But and then again, that movie was filmed like 3 years ago. I know she's been doing training and stuff like that. So it just depends on whether she gets the audition and she does well in it. So I could see it happening. I could see her being there. It would be a great marketing point for the show. I think it would be great. She just has to fit in somewhere correctly for the showrunners to be able to do it. That's the only thing. So I think I'm one of the first people, like creators, to put this out. But I actually saw this from my comments, especially when she came out of Cobra Kai, is Raina Valentingham. She is right here. And a lot of people have fan casted her as the Pink Ranger going forward. And I could see it. I'm not going to lie.
She looks like a yellow to me. Like
does,
there's I think
her personality is very
she's
pink.
Too badass to be the pink. And I'm not saying Pink Rangers can't be badass, but there's like this edginess to or I could see her even being like a female Red. Like there's something like a leader, like an edginess. Like I'm not saying she can't be pink. It's just like the pink sometimes a lot of the time is more of the girly girl. Like she don't give me those vibes, bro. She gives me like I'm the leader of the team type crap. I like her though. I would definitely.
I could see her leader. I see her because I've seen her on like some of her promo stuff for Cobra Kai. She's very like into the makeup and fashion and stuff like that. So that's why I was kind of thinking pink. But it's whatever she plays, right? And she does have leader aspects of her. I could see her as a Red as well. So that's a good. I never even thought about that until you brought that up. So that's a good point as well. But she's a 13-time Taekwondo world champion. She has the martial arts experience. She was on Cobra Kai. She did really well on Cobra Kai. Did a really good job playing the bad guy on that show. She had another big thing. She has a crap load of Instagram followers. I think she's like in the millions. Let me check real quick. And that is one thing that they're actually going to love. Because a lot of these studios require these actors now to have Instagrams and to have a large following. She has 4 million followers on Instagram.
Wow.
So that means she has more followers than almost all of the original Power Rangers on Instagram themselves.
Dude, so I remember when the Ant Whistle movie was like still happening. I was like for years campaigning for Millie Bobby Brown to be the Red Ranger leader because like she had such a big following and was coming off of Stranger Things. This was like 5-6 years ago at this point. Cause I think she just turned 21 or something. I saw on the TV. So like she would have been the perfect age, like 4 or 5 years ago to be a Power Ranger. And I thought, the mixture between like her already being on Netflix and this being a Netflix project. And then, like her basically like being perfect for this role. But it is what it is. Jonathan Entwistle thing never came out and we never were on it. I've said for years though, we need to go after actors that could actually like help the program in multiple ways, not just by their acting skills. We're always, for years, we're always looking for people and saying, oh, here's an opportunity. I want an actor to bring an opportunity to us. Like I want somebody to bring, I'm bringing 5 million people that will watch the show just for me.
Right.
Like we haven't had that before. We're always like giving opportunities to other people, but no one's ever given us
That's
one.
a really good point. And I think the only thing I can think is the movie, like we got Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Banks, and that I think that brought in a lot of the
cast though of the main Rangers were, even though they were amazing, and Becky G, I mean, she had a top 40 song a few years prior, but like they were all kind of no names, and Becky G had like no acting experience, but like even
she had a little bit. She was on Empire for a second, I think.
Oh, was she? Okay, okay. So she like a show or two, but you're right.
And
like
Naomi was in a Disney movie that people absolutely loved.
It was the Lemonade Mouth or something like that. Yeah,
so those two, but Dacre didn't have anything, Ludi didn't have anything, and RJ didn't have anything. You are correct. So they knew the girls, but I think that was probably by design, obviously. So as far as when they were casting, as for getting Naomi and Becky G, it's crazy though because Naomi and Becky G are. And even Dacre are like, they're huge now. Those three actors are they can. It's funny because when they talk about the sequel, like we should get a sequel. And I was like, we should, but they can never afford that cast anymore.
Absolutely, no, they're huge now.
That's an Avengers budget basically just for the cast.
They could have still afforded them if they would have got it back in 2019. That their careers only
7 movie contract they had. Yep.
Because Naomi was still like in the middle of like Aladdin. What was the Charlie's Angels like? Now I feel like she a little bit more expensive now. And Dacre was in the middle of what was it called? What was he? Stranger Things? Yeah, like dude, like everybody was just getting. RJ Cyler was in a bunch of stuff too. Like it would have been perfect to be like, oh, you guys are working hard now. Come back for Power Rangers. They would have done it.
Yeah, and they would have come back. And it's funny because a lot of those they're still best friends. It's funny, like they all still like talk to each other. So that's an interesting part about that as well. So like I said, she's a karate champion for Raina Vallandigham. And so the interesting I've seen, one of the ones someone brought it up in a previous live stream was Asher Angel as the Red Ranger. And now I kind of can't unsee it if he was to do a Jason. Asher Angel, he is the kid from Shazam. He played Billy Batson. Yeah, but he's all grown up now. Dude's buff. He's like 6'4". He's not 6'4". He's probably like 6'2". Dude is huge now. So he's not that scrawny little kid. Someone kind of put me onto the idea of it, and I kind of get Jason vibes from him. So he's one of the alternative I can see that's not Cobra Kai and being, in Power Rangers. He doesn't have, he doesn't have DC anymore. I think, unless he goes back to DC and James Gunn's and actually is Shazam, because he's bigger than Zach Levi is now. He needs something that he can kind of, grab his, make his own sort of thing. He never got to actually be the superhero. So if he wanted a good franchise, I think that would be, and I think he would be attainable as well. And he comes in with a little bit of, like you said, like you're bringing something to the brand rather than we giving you everything for it. So I think he would be a good idea for him to, I think he's 20. I think he's 19 or 20 right now. So he's still young, could still do it pretty well. I don't know. You kind of said Raina would be your Red Ranger. Can you think of any other actors? I think it's hard to think of actors and everybody that exists. That's because we know we're not getting Tom Holland. We're not getting Zendaya. We're not getting, who was another big one? Selena Gomez. Someone said Taylor Swift in here. We're not getting Taylor Swift. None of that's going to happen. Maybe we get Taylor Swift for a theme song. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Couldn't afford her. But I don't know if you can think of anyone. You're saying Millie Bobby Brown, but I don't know.
She's almost too old now. Like I mean, it depends what way they want to go. But if something tells me if they're going with the showrunners from Disney Plus, they're probably going to go teenagers. Aquafina should be Rita. Dude,
I don't know.
The fan base would for no reason. She could be great. People would just be mad because they're like, oh, they're just gonna make it a joke now. But like,
she's a great actress and she's a good comedian.
Aquafina's cool. She does a good job in a lot of the stuff, and she's pretty successful. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, she couldn't or shouldn't do it. I know my fan base, and I know that they would freak out. They'd be like, "Oh, so it's just a big joke now to you, huh?" Like I could just freaking see it now.
The Rock, no, he's never gonna do. He's too expensive.
The Rock or Kevin Hart would sell some tickets.
Kevin Hart as Alpha 5.
Bro, no, dude. If we really think it's a joke, then you might as well just get Aquafina that can be Rita. Then, like, that would be wild, dude. You might as well have Dwayne Johnson's big ass just be Zord on
that. Oh, you know, although I could see John Cena as Zed. Oh I could see John Cena as Zed. I'm not gonna lie. And he's already balding, so like it would work, dude.
Oh,
guys, I just dropped the link. I will open up the I guess you can jump on for maybe I would say 10 minutes. We'll allow 10 minutes for people to come up, and then we're gonna do, I guess during that time we can start the giveaway for him. But yeah, Taylor Swift can be in Cats too. Yeah, she that'd probably be her best bet. Now that he is, it's not coming up now. There we go. Now that he's a heel. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, he did really well in Peacemaker. I love that show. He acted more in that show than I've ever seen a wrestler act.
He's a good actor, man. He's good.
Even Dave Bautista, he kind of has like the way that he acts. John Cena is like, I think has more range than I've seen any wrestler before. So that's why I say he could be a Zed. It just depends. It just depends on what he thinks is on his level, sort of thing. Was rewatching Community, would love Danny Pudi as Alpha 5. I could see that as well. That's not a bad idea. You can't see him, don't lie. That's a good line. I give you that. That's a good one. Would Bulk and Skull be in this? I think you need something like that. You need something in the show to be a Bulk and Skull, whether it be a more serious thing.
Bro, what is the one, dude? You got Pete Davidson as Skull, and then who's the one dude that's always on, like, he be in Bud Light commercials. He be like, he's this like heavier, not like a fat dude, but like heavier set white dude. What is his name? Is it like Shane Gillis or something?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He could be Bulk, and you have Pete Davidson be Skull.
Oh, Pete Davidson? That'd be interesting. That'd be super, super interesting. He had to stay sober, though. I like Cena way better than that. Oh, we got our first person in the back. So what we're going to do now is, before we bring this person up, and if again, hit the link if you want an opportunity to come up yourself, we are going to start Dan's giveaway while this is happening. So Dan, let me remove this guy. Dan, if you want to show what you're giving away real quick, and I will start that on my end. It's an Andros, disguise Andros, which is the one Christopher Cannon Lee likes the most, he says. And guys, how do you enter? You put in #red. I just made it easy. I was going to put Andros, but I feel like people might misspell that. So #red, put that up, and you're entered for the giveaway right here. And this is thanks to Dan from the fan club for doing this for you guys. I think he's asking for United States only, right?
Yes, please.
United States only. So if you win and you entered and you're from international, he may contact you about splitting that shipping cost, because I sent one to Australia and it was $50 for Australia.
Dang.
Yeah. So all right. So while we do that, while we get those collected comments, everybody, he's probably the Legacy of Nerd Lieutenant #1. Guys, welcome Maddie to the stream. Mid Tennessee Geek Man. How you doing, man?
Lieutenant, more like private.
Right. Well, let's keep privates out of this. All right. No.
There we go.
There you go. I was seeing, because it's a new format, so I have to test everything out, and I can't test it out until it happens. So what are you thinking about the reboot, Maddie?
Anything, like you've said it many times, anything Power Ranger news is good news.
True.
So I mean, I definitely, yes, it's just talks, but talks lead to stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's coming around the time these new toys are coming out. So I mean, this is fuel for the fire to, hey, we've got toys to sell the show, and vice versa, which has always been the thing of why Bandai bought it in the first place, was to sell toys.
And I feel like the Playmates thing already being in production, is probably helping Disney saying like, okay, yeah, we'll show it on our platform. Because
Exactly.
honestly, if Netflix and Disney Plus are the two biggest platforms right now on streaming, there's no two bigger right now. So that's an absolute win. You know what I mean, for Power Rangers. And you're right. Like any news is good news because there is news. So that's a good point. Now, what do you think? What do you hope to see from the show? And I know you're just happy that a show is in talks, right? But what would you want to be seen from a show for yourself?
Something original.
Okay, you would go original.
I mean, if you want to keep the same Mighty Morphin flow, but it doesn't have to be the same names. It doesn't have to be Jason. It doesn't have to be Kimberly.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to reboot it, reboot it.
So you're saying like, do you kind of agree with me? Like something needs to be familiar though to people.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, especially our age. I mean, we want that familiarity to bring us in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've got a kid. I've got a kid. Dan's assuming you got kids. I'm never really talk to you that much, but
he's got kids. He's got
they're
growing up.
I mean, they pick their own favorites. Like my little one, she was old enough. She started watching Dino Fury.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what she loves. I mean, it doesn't matter what's there as long as it's there.
Yeah.
It's for the young ones.
Any casting ideas that you think, Maddie, that would go good?
It's hard to get past not casting some of those guys from Cobra Kai, especially Raina, because
it's so fresh. Yeah,
and she's hot. You know, I mean, and honestly, what we all have, and I think you posted something the other day where you had the 4 pictures of the ladies of the 90s. That was all our crushes. The
90s starter crush.
Right. I mean, and who was on there? Amy Jo Johnson, because I mean, she was gorgeous, still is gorgeous, but still, you're appealing to that brand as well.
Right.
So I mean, and I mentioned in the comments earlier, but going back to the format of having actors that can actually perform some type of martial arts. When Power Rangers started getting away from that and started using more stunt doubles, you could tell it in just the show in general. Right. It didn't feel as mesh. It didn't flow right when it went to, the Sentai footage. Having actors in suits that makes them more appealing. I think one of your panels you did some time ago, Tracy had stated she's never wore the suit. Okay, sure. And I could be wrong. I could be misquoting, so forgive me on that.
I think what they're saying, if you saw the helmet on, they were never in the suit, is what they were saying.
Right. But it got more and more further away as series went on that none of them wore an actual suit.
Right. I was like, I can think of one time I saw Tracy, maybe 2 times she was in the suit. So,
well, the legacy one from going on the turbo switch, she wore it there just
right.
But as far as in space, I would have to go back and watch it in space just to see if I can actually remember her being in the suit.
It doesn't happen often. I know a lot of the actors talk about, like, especially if they haven't sat on panel, they definitely told me like they would beg to be in the suit because it just never happened.
Well,
so
I think what happened too was those first couple years, everyone was trying to cancel it because of violence. So I remember Steve told me after the second season or halfway through the second season, they didn't really have a lot of battles outside of like with their suits on. So like all of the first season and a half where they're doing all the flips and the fight scenes in their civilian forms, that got pulled back every year because it was too violent. I guess like Fox Kids was cool if they were beating the crap out of each other with suits on, but not like in their civilian forms, I guess. So like as time went on, they really did take that away. You're right, bro.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I didn't think about that either. As far as their civilian fighting got less and less as the shows went on. That's a good point.
Alrighty, guys. So we're coming towards the end of our stream. We're going to go ahead and pull up the giveaway for transparency because I remember to say that right. You guys had to put #red in the comments. We got 17 entries, guys. Whoever wins, where do they contact you, Dan?
Probably do the Facebook page or my email is thefanclub563@outlook.com. we're on Facebook, the fan club, or I guess even Instagram, the fan club 563, whatever's easiest for you guys. We're pretty much everywhere.
Dude, this dude said Booker T.
And it's written on style. Most boys got
Booker T.
That is funny, dude.
He be ripped as shit. He's swole.
Jesse says, my big takeaway from this is most of us Power Ranger fans are also wrestling fans. There's a lot of crossover, I could say for sure. So we're going to leave that up just because that's funny, guys. But all right, guys.
That's
all right.
great. Shout out to
5,
HR.
4, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to whoever wins. And the winner is going to be Josh. Dude, he wins so much because he's around. He's in the stream. This is
gotta be in the room.
Gotta be in the room. He's in the room. That's how it
Oh,
is.
come on. I'm gonna start calling fake news here. He's winning so much.
You gotta be here.
This guy complained that he never won anything, and now he's winning all kinds.
Remember, he didn't win anything for like 2 years, and he was getting really mad that he never won anything. And like, I think this is like his 4th time winning. There's another guy. Oh my god, I can't remember his name. His screen name because I don't want to call his real name. But he made me this actually. Road Dog. His Road Hog. He's good.
Yeah, Road Dog. Yeah.
He's been in for the beginning, like when there was like 10 people in the stream. So he's won like a lot, and he's been there for a long time. So, all right, guys, we're coming to the end of our stream. I want to appreciate you guys all being here tonight. You guys are awesome. There's some Caden. Make sure to message me if you haven't. Shannon, thanks for being here. D-Ron, Mesozoic, Josh, congratulations for winning. Stovey, Dad, Paul, thanks for being. Jesse, DHR, thank you for the Booker T for Goldar. You gave us something to go out on. Funny. Christian, sorry, Super Sentai is never happening ever again. Sorry, man. Sentai Ranger Donnie, Matthew, thanks for being here. Nick, thanks for being here. Joseph Wiley, Maddie, of course, was in the chat. Aries, thanks for being here. We got a lot of people that came through tonight, so I appreciate you guys. Before I leave, we'll give Maddie, is there anything that you would like to say real quick before we go?
I just appreciate any kind of new subscribers or followers on my YouTube page and Instagram. You can find me on all social media platforms at Mid-Teen Geek or Middle Tennessee Geek. You can find me there. If you are in the Tennessee area or don't mind driving, I will actually be at Music City Collectibles and Toys in Watertown, Tennessee, Saturday to be part of the signing for Catherine and Nakia that will be there. And they're actually, the store itself is doing a big estates of original Power Rangers stuff that's never been opened. Man bought it years ago, had the receipt still in the box, and unfortunately he passed, and his daughter just doesn't want to deal with it. But contacted the store, and he's going to be having that stuff out for sale for the first time this Saturday. You can check my live show we just did last week and see a hint of that, like the original Megazord, original black and gold Megazord, among other figures and stuff, still sealed in the box. And that's only part of what I've seen, so I can only imagine what's going to be there.
Awesome, man. So make sure to go check out Mid Tennessee Geek on his Instagram and YouTube for more information on that. And then Dan, you got the floor, my man.
Hey, if you guys like what you heard, you guys want to check out my content, come on over to the fan club on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're pretty much everywhere, but we're more prevalent over on YouTube and Facebook. We're just like the Legacy of Nerd. We talk Power Rangers and more. It's always a good time. And thanks for having us on, dude. It was a good episode, and we're happy to give away a figure for once. It was dope. And this all started because I won a figure on this channel right here.
He won. That's right. He won.
You know what? I almost got to give it back because I didn't think I was going to win. I was just hanging out, and I was like, oh, crap, I won, and let's give away it and do the circle of life thing. So let's have some fun.
So is that the figure you won?
What?
So is that the figure you won from Daniel?
No, he won the Justin Nemo. He won the Silver Ranger.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember which one.
Here, I won the.
I said I won Squat, so.
I won this one right here. Yeah.
Nice.
So you got some. I put some more stuff. I put a sticker in there.
I got stickers. I got a little card. My daughter wanted the card. She's like, "Can I have this, Chad?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, you can have it. It's cool."
Cool, man. So yeah, I try to. I'm running a little bit low on stickers, but I'll get some more. We got a new sticker that we are giving out. I don't have one here, so we had this one for the longest time. So this
I got one
was
here handy.
this was
This one you
V2.
sent me.
Yep, that's V1 and V2. So he has those, and then we have a version 3 now. And once we get a sticker that goes out of production, they never come back. So I keep like one or two, and then we go to a new one. So the new one is holographic a little bit. So
that's
nice.
lit, bro.
well, before we go, we got someone in the backstage. We're gonna give him 2 minutes, man. Is that cool? 2 minutes, cool? Okay. The Nura, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey guys. Yeah, I'm good.
Good. So, what did you think about the reboot news, and what's some of your quick thoughts on that?
I need to see more.
You need some more. You need some more details.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we're just all happy there is news. Is pretty much how.
Show me the Rangers.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I think it was me who suggested to you to look into Reina Vallandigham. So
It probably was you. I definitely saw it in my comments, and then I put it up, and people really gravitated toward it, and it's become a thing now. It's a common thing now. So you know what? And honestly, and like I know people get pissed when I put up the Cobra Kai stuff. We kind of said it earlier, but like it just creates traffic for more talk about Power Rangers, and that's the goal here, at least.
And of course, the timing when you put the post out, it was like around the same time season 6 was having its.
Oh, it was. The premiere was actually happening at that time.
Yeah,
they were on the red carpet, and I was like, I'm going to make content in a good way for this Power Rangers. So
smart.
And I think I was doing one every 15 minutes, and people were like, "You're just spamming, bro." I'm like, then why is everyone liking these? Like, so. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming up. It was good meeting you, man. I appreciate it. I've seen you in the chat a couple of times, man. So I thank you for being here, man. Awesome. Thanks, man.
And thank you for your. I'm gonna thank him for your super chat that you gave him.
Oh, thank you as well. Yes, thank you for the super chat, and I appreciate you moving the conversation along as well too. So thank you, man.
All right. Yeah.
Have a good one. All right, guys, we are out. You guys, last quick for me. As always, like I say every other stream, I never know what things are going to happen. So just follow me on Instagram is the best place to follow me. Facebook is the best place to follow me. I cover more than Power Rangers. I cover Marvel, DC, Star Wars, cover everything. I put up a bunch of Lilo and Stitch stuff the other day. So make sure to follow me on the other stuff because I am putting out content constantly. YouTube wise, I never know what's going to put out. I do have, I think I'm going to put out some shorts. I do need some interviews I need to put out. I think I have one with Debbie Dewberry.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. I have a couple more. So those will get out eventually. I just put out an interview with Lenore Zan, the voice of Rogue.
Oh,
it was a great interview. One of my best interviews I've ever done. She told us behind the scenes of the 5th episode, Remember It, and what she was going through at that time. It is hard. So that's why one of the best episodes ever is because of something that she was going through, unfortunately, during that time. But she put her real emotion into that. But guys, of course, just follow me on the other. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next time. Hopefully, we stream more often. But until then, you guys know what time it is. Dan, what time is it?
It's morphin' time.
See you later, guys.